Today, we are talking about the richest man in Sri Lanka. Welcome back to Reign Supreme, a channel to impact influential, powerful minds. The list of the world's wealthiest individuals might change from year to year based on their most recent net worth and financial success. It seems that the number of wealthy men in Sri Lanka has fallen as a result of the recent financial crisis, and it now appears that the country's richest man is also the one who triggered it. Sri Lanka has been hit hard by the economic downturn, and people there are having a hard time. But now, in light of current events, who is the wealthiest individual in Sri Lanka, serving his nation in tough times? Who is he? Dhammika Perera. Dhammika was recently named the country's wealthiest man by the venerable Forbes magazine. Dhammika is the largest stakeholder in a number of firms, including Hayleys, Sampath Bank, Pan Asia Bank, Royal Ceramics, and other firms, as well as he has attained such a position via his ability to invest at the right time and in the right place. He didn't become one of Sri Lanka's wealthiest people by chance. He worked hard to get there. Indeed, it was deliberate. In 1999, when he was 32, he enlisted the aid of a mentor to create a 20-year business plan for his nascent enterprises. His daring ambition was to be the country's leader in each of the 12 sectors by the year 2019. To date, he's been successful in 9 different industries, establishing best-in-class businesses in travel and tourism, banking, clothing, and other areas. In fact, his Royal Ceramics Lanka was included in Forbes Asia's top 200 Asia-Pacific firms under $1 billion in revenue in 2010 and again in 2011. How did he get his wealth? Today, his business includes 23 publicly traded firms, representing 8% of the total market capitalization of the Colombo Stock Exchange, as well as dozens of privately held enterprises. His businesses operate in Thailand, Indonesia, Japan, the United Kingdom, and other countries, employing around 62,000 people. Also, he supplies Canadian Walmarts, manufactures Levi Blue Jeans, and ships tea all over the globe via his company, Green Mountain Tea. His businesses are thriving in Sri Lanka, which has seen rapid growth since the conclusion of its 26-year civil war 4 years ago. His stated holdings are worth $190 million. However, his 3 Colombo casinos and other unlisted assets enhance his wealth to almost $550 million, one of the country's 4 largest fortunes. He claims that his firms now pay 5% of all Sri Lankan corporate taxes, and he wants that percentage to rise to 10% because more taxes imply companies receiving more business and a higher market share. Perera, 45, works from the 29th level of Colombo's World Trade Center's West Tower, the country's highest structure. This, however, is not an executive suite. Rather, it is an investment office. Instead of running his businesses, he acquires controlling interests in them. He's a numbers man who seeks out undervalued assets and then swoops in using mathematical models he's constructed over years. Once he has the correct people in place, he gives them the authority to do what has been done to them. As a Renaissance man, he is credited with reviving much of Sri Lanka's business sector, which had stagnated during the long years of conflict as international investors shied away and competition shrunk. As a youngster, he invested in street hawkers' businesses in front of his uncle's cafe. Then he leased slot machines and installed them in the cafe. In 1987, when Sri Lanka was 4 years into a civil war, Perera left the University of Moratuwa, a prestigious technological institution located south of Colombo. Instead of renting out slot machines, he traveled to Taiwan for 3 months of technical instruction, then returned to the United States and launched a company to build them. He then decided to put his younger brother, Harindra, who was just 17 years old, in charge of the manufacturing floor. After that, in 1993, he entered the gambling industry by building his own casino. But he is now replacing the casinos, beginning with the $350 million development of the 40-story, 500-room Queensbury Integrated Resort and Casino. However, he no longer manufactures slot machines and prefers to minimize his associations with casinos, claiming that they account for just 3 to 4% of his firm's overall income. Furthermore, in 1999, his career took a turn when he met Nadim ul Haq, the senior resident representative of the International Monetary Fund in Sri Lanka, who became his mentor. Ul Haq, according to Perera, encouraged him on how to act, how aggressive to be. Ul Haq arranged for him to attend a lecture on infrastructure and business growth at the KfW Bank in Germany. Upon his return, Perera gained a greater grasp of how to minimize risk factors and cash flow management, as he put it. Then, Ul Haq and Perera got together and made the 20-year plan. At this point in the game, Perera still had to win 3 of the 12 possible sectors: healthcare, insurance, and telecommunications. Even though he has ideas for the healthcare and insurance industries, he still doesn't know what the best business model is for telecommunications, because technology is always changing. Now to the controversies of the richest man. In April 2014, Parliament passed the contentious Strategic Development Project Act Gazette No. 1 that approved Dhammika Perera's $300 million, 500-room Queensbury facility, the Queensbury Leisure Limited, in DR Wijayawardena Mawatha, Colombo, as an integrated super-luxury tourist resort with associated facilities, and the UNP party stated that Dhammika's resort had a casino collection. Then, in July 2019, he and his firm Hayleys were accused of making money via rubbish fraud after tons of waste were smuggled and dumped into the nations from the UK. Also, he was reportedly rumored to be a contender for the United National Party's presidential nomination in Sri Lanka's 2019 elections. However, he vehemently denied the claims and referred to them as rumors. However, now on to the current dynamics. It's now Dhammika Perera, the Sri Lankan tycoon, who's been named the country's Minister of Investment Promotion, according to a statement from the president's office. Following the resignation of his brother in parliament, Perera, an important Sri Lankan investor who owns shares in dozens of firms, took the seat formerly held by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's brother. Now, it has been over 70 years since Sri Lanka has become an independent state. Yet, the country is now in its greatest financial crisis since then, with a total of $51 billion of foreign debt, which made it difficult. The people of Sri Lanka, wealthy and poor, are fed up with the situation. Its foreign exchange reserves have plummeted to historic lows, leaving it unable to pay for imports of basic necessities like gasoline, food, and medication, leading to shortages and months of demonstrations. Also, the people in Colombo's informal colonies claim they are eating half as much as they used to, since food costs have more than quadrupled in less than a year. With that, the owners of cafes, bakeries, and salons in middle-class neighborhoods have had to lay off workers and are now facing the threat of liquidating their businesses completely because of power outages and lower revenues. According to a resident of Colombo's Nugegoda area, the whole country has been destroyed. Even stray dogs have a better life than we do, another chimed in. Everything is pricey. We are unable to handle it. Furthermore, Sri Lanka, an island country of 22 million people, is experiencing its worst economic slump in decades. During these crises, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, a member of the opposition brought in by the president, is also against the Perera. Interestingly, Wickremesinghe is not only fighting the Rajapaksa administration, but also Perera, since he was quoted in 2015 as calling Perera a devil who defended the corrupt Rajapaksa dictatorship. But difficult times call for desperate measures, and since Sri Lanka defaulted on its $51 billion foreign debt last month, the streets have been packed with protesters. On May 9th, Mahinda Rajapaksa resigned as prime minister, eliminating another Rajapaksa face that is no longer formally affiliated with the administration. Now, bringing in Perera might help the clan keep some of its good names, but in the end, only smart policies and strong actions will be able to turn the country around. Furthermore, protesters are continuing to fight Perera's inclusion, claiming that he is a notorious tax evader. Even though the claim hasn't been proven, it fits with the bad picture of him that his opponents are trying to paint. His appointment has also been called into question because Perera wasn't on the national list during the 2020 elections. Mr. Wickramasinghe stated to Parliament that Sri Lanka needs an annual import of $7 billion. Despite the current economic crisis, now Sri Lanka is trying to attract $1 billion in investment and has a long list of attractive renewable energy projects in the queue. And there you have it, the richest man in Sri Lanka. We hope you've gained valuable knowledge today, and we thank you for staying with us until the end. Make sure to like and subscribe for future videos so you'll never miss out. We have new ones every week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.